Hey, Zedheads, welcome to our podcast. I'm Jason.
And I'm Karen.
This is the Walking Dead cast episode 238.
Woo!
First, I want to thank everyone who's supporting us through our new Patreon account or campaign. There's some really cool rewards on there. If you want to find out more about it, go to patreon.com/Jason and Karen.
Thanks for supporting us.
So I just got back from Walker Stalker Con. Do you want to hear a little bit about it?
No.
Okay, let's move on.
Just kidding.
Well, the best, there were two huge highlights. One was the listener meetup, which was really cool and met a lot of you guys. And we FaceTimed you and Karen, but we couldn't hear a thing you were saying. So was that just, how was that? Was it really weird or?
Yeah. Well, I was saying, I was so funny and profound, and you'll never know. Just take my word for it.
Did you record it?
No, oddly I didn't.
But
But it looked like you guys were having a great time, and it was really fun to see everybody's happy smiling face.
Yeah.
That was kind of great. It made me really sad and homesick for Walker Stalker Con. It's the first one I've missed in Atlanta, and it was really sad. I wanted to be there.
I wanted to teleport you over there. It was fun because I had, I called you on the phone and I'm like, I can't hear you. I'm sorry. But then I would just, without anybody even, or some people didn't know that I had you on there, I would just shove you in their face and go, look, it's Karen. And then you'd see them get a little confused and then their face would light up. Oh, Karen! Start waving.
Is that what you
So
were
that was
doing?
pretty fun.
Oh, that's funny. So how was the whole thing?
Well, I just wanted to mention we got some really awesome gifts from people.
What?
Robin Daly gave us these glass carvings. Yours has Glenn on it with your haiku that you made up for him.
Are you kidding me?
Isn't that great?
That is so wonderful.
And
I'm so
I met
happy.
Aubrey Churchward and Laura Husey.
Oh my God.
They
I
were
love
awesome.
those people.
I know, they were so cool. And Aubrey gave me some zombie books, a zombie book for Nico, and then I got a bullet necklace from a guy, I can't remember his name, but I think it's Pete.
Nice.
But anyway, cool guy. And then we got some whiskey and a cool flask from Allison, Carrie, and Jessica from the Dead Connection.
Oh,
But
I like whiskey.
yeah, I'll give you some. You have to come over here.
Yeah,
But
okay.
There were too many other cool people to mention, but I had so much fun talking to all you guys, and Rima especially. We were hanging out at the party later on, this big party, and going around and mingling with everybody. Super fun. And Grace,
sounds
of
great.
course, she was there.
Yay,
and it was really
Gracie.
good to hang out with her again. It had been too long.
Yep.
And we videoed Duncan in too. He didn't even know it was happening, but I just called him and then shoved him in people's faces, and he loved it.
Well done, sir.
The panel that it was the best, one of the best panels ever, was Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah, I was nervous because our podcast
Sure.
was all raw and heavy last week, and I knew a lot of people were really upset about the episode, and people had been sending him death threats, I heard, and he looked kind of shocked by it. He knew there was going to be a
Wow.
reaction, but he didn't know it would be like as bad as it was. I guess there's like videos of people just, I'm going to kill you,
Oh God.
Yeah, so
Oh, he's an actor. People, it's fake. It's all fake.
yeah, and he was trying backstage. I met him, and it was it was the first panel in the morning. He hadn't met any of the people yet, the guests, or the people, the attendees.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey man, how you doing? I'm monitoring this panel. Are you ready?" And he goes, I own any stage I walk onto." But I could tell he was just kind of trying to psych himself up, and it's gonna be great. And so I was, before the panel, I was like, I don't know if I should. I had a bunch of jokes, but I'm like, it might be too soon for that. But as soon as he walked out on stage, the crowd went nuts. It was like 4,000 people, totally full. So
Wow.
It was him and Nicotero, and then James and I went out. And the first thing I said was, "All right, I want to get 11 volunteers up here kneeling down on the stage." And everybody laughed. And I was like, thank God. That could have just made everyone in this place hate me, but the mood was right. And so throughout the rest of the panel, like James said something, "Oh yeah, I knew right off the bat that I would like you." And I'm like, right off the bat, I would just make these puns. And he liked it, Jeffrey D. Morgan. But it wasn't just that. He was just really interesting, and he was fun, and he cussed a lot. He used a lot of profanity because James said it was okay. So he was going in and out of the Negan character and kind of having fun with it. And, it was a really good vibe. So it kind of took the sting out of what happened and everything. So anyway, It's a great panel.
Did you hug it out afterwards?
He was really happy afterwards, you could tell. And we did our picture on stage and he had Lucille and he put his arm around me and, it was pretty fun.
And then he turned around and bashed your head in?
No, but I'm going to play that. I got the audio, so I'm going to listen to it. But
nice.
If it's good, I'm going to play it as an episode this week for you guys. So that should be coming out in a few days.
That'll be fun to hear.
Yeah, you should listen. And then just a couple other highlights. Went out to Nick and Norman's restaurant in Sonoy.
How was that?
Greg Nicotero, Norman Reedus. It was nice. It was real classy. It was some of Norman's, I think, photography up and a chandelier, and it was just a cool, hip kind of a decor, and it was no zombies anywhere, which I thought was really cool. It's like, we don't have to have zombies everywhere. No. Although there were some awesome zombie t-shirts, and I got one. And that was with Chris Fairhurst from Talking Dead podcast and his wife, Christina. And we went to the dumpster and we went to Terminus and Alexandria.
Did you scamper under the dumpster?
Actually, the dumpster was not there, but there was an outline of Nicholas's body, which I laid down and posed for a photo.
I saw the picture. That's great.
Yeah, that was really fun. The last thing I wanted to mention is I did one with Michael Emerson, who played Ben Linus.
Yes, a hero of mine.
He was fantastic.
Was he?
Very thoughtful about all his answers and generous. And people would ask, like, so what's the smoke monster? And he would give an answer of what he thought it is.
Oh, excellent.
He wouldn't just like blow off anything. He would really try to give a reasoned response to everything, which was cool. Then I saw him at the bar later during the meetup and just walked up and I'm like, because I heard him say, somebody said that he thought it was going to be more people because it was called a panel. And so I walked up and I'd already had a few drinks and I was like, it wasn't really a panel, was it? And he's like, oh, well, you were up there. So I guess it sort of was. And I'm like, I don't count. And then we started talking about person of interest. And I don't know, I don't exactly remember, but we were talking for like 15 minutes and just having a good time. And he's really nice. So that was cool.
So great. Oh my God. I love it. I love it. He's wonderful.
Yeah. If you would have been there, that would have been so much fun for you to get to talk to him.
It would have been a highlight for sure.
Yeah. Because he's so nice.
Yep.
So those are the highlights. There's a lot more. And in fact, when we do our first call-in show later this week for patrons, if you guys want to ask me about that, I'm happy to talk more. But I don't want to spend too much time on it on the main podcast.
I'm so glad we're going to talk about it on Friday because there's so many things I want to ask you about. So
okay, cool.
Come join our Patreon group listeners and come and join us on Friday.
Everyone who pledges at any level gets to go to those, by the way.
Oh, it's going to be good.
All right, now let's get into the reason why we're here.
Attention shoppers, Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, it's our Deadcast Top 5 this week. It's our top 5 highlights for Season 7, Episode 2, The Well.
Yep.
So what'd you think?
I loved it so much. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I gave it 4.9 out of 5 brains.
That's the same thing I gave last week's.
Uh-huh. We flipped. I bet we flipped. What'd you give it? Did you give it a 1?
I'm a 1, yeah.
You liar. You liked it too. Don't lie.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I was wondering if you would think I really didn't like it, but I loved it.
No way. Because it's too wonderful. It was a wonderful, especially after it was a bleak episode last week. And so especially in comparison.
It's a great palate cleanser.
Mm-hmm, it was. And we got to see the kingdom. And,
it was everything you hoped it would be.
Yes.
Even more than I realized it was going to be.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a whole world opened up. It was fabulous. And I really, really needed it. So, yay.
Yeah, they knew that. I mean, well, that was another thing during the Jeffrey Dean Morgan panel. I asked Greg is it going to be this dark for the rest of the season? And he's like, that's a good question. And then he just started going on and on about this week's episode because he's afraid everyone's going to leave, right?
Right.
And so he was happy to talk about it. And I was just sitting there thinking, oh, good, maybe Karen will stick around a little bit longer.
Hey, you know what? If they throw me a bone like this episode every once in a while, I'll be happy.
Oh, this is a major bone.
I tried to get it's funny, one of my coworkers who I love named Justin, he was traumatized by last week's episode. And I said to him today, I'm like, hey, did you watch the latest episode? And he said, no, I'm still processing last week's. And I said, no, really, you should definitely try to, watch this week's episode. I'm telling you, it's amazing. And he's like, well, no, last week's episode was really hard. And I'm like, it's okay, Justin.
This will make you feel better.
Yeah. But he looked shell-shocked. I mean, he was traumatized. He watched it by himself, which I think is a mistake.
Well, I don't remember the exact numbers, but the premiere got 17 million views or somewhere around there on the first night. And that's the second most views of any episode so far of the series.
Wow. That's a lot.
Season 5, episode 1 was the highest so far,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still impressive to come. It was like 300,000 views away from that, and after the ratings had gone down a little bit in season 6, so that's really impressive. But then episode 2 last night had like 12.4 or something, which is still great, but it's the sharpest drop between episode 1 and 2 since the series started, I think.
Oh, and which is so bad because this episode, that's just really too bad. This episode was so good. I hope people come back to it and stick to it.
Yeah, word of mouth. Hopefully we'll get them. But that is still a good number, 12 point whatever. But I just want to say, so I thought it was really good. It was really fun. It was funny, but it wasn't just that. It was emotional and uplifting, and it was interesting thematically. And there were some great zombie sections, really good.
Yes,
Character driven. There's a lot of new stuff to sink our teeth into. There was some cool, tense stuff with some of the saviors.
Yep.
I thought it was one of the better episodes. I give it a 4.8. I also think, I was worried, and I'll talk more about this, but I part of me needs to reserve judgment on the kingdom because it's kind of hokey, but I thought they handled it really well in this episode. So right now I'm pretty optimistic about it, but I hope looking back that this actually isn't a jump the shark moment for the show, even though right now I'm really high on it.
Wow. That's really funny because the part that I thought where they could have maybe jumped the shark, and I know none of our listeners will agree with me, but and you won't agree with me either. But the part that I think that they may have jumped the shark was actually Negan repeatedly bashing in Glenn and Abraham. Afterwards, that's exactly the phrase that I thought of, was like, "Oh my God, the show has jumped the shark. They have absolutely gone too far." But this episode helped me to come back to it. So it's funny what people think of as, this is
I
the
can
turning
understand
point.
why you would say that for sure. And if you remember that the one criticism I had last week was that maybe they went too far in that direction with the gore and, just showing for too long. So I get that. All right, let's get into the top 5. You go first.
Okay, so I'm going to say long live King Ezekiel. Woo! Carrie Payton. Oh my goodness. Is this
He did
man,
such a good job.
Is he wonderful to watch or what? His voice is incredible. I know he is a voiceover actor, and so his voice is his thing, but man, even the part where he was talking to Carol and he went from being King Ezekiel to just being Ezekiel.
Yes, that was the best.
Yeah, his voice changed. His voice actually changed, and not just the words he was using, and his whole tone changed. And I was thinking, this man is amazing. He's so good. And what's not to like about King Ezekiel? He's a shining beacon of optimism and hope. And mostly I love that he found a way to deal with the bad by, as he said, going a little overboard with the good.
All the good, yeah.
Yep.
And I loved when Carol said, why do you care? And he's like, because it makes me feel good.
Right.
When he said that, I felt the warm fuzzies, I have to admit.
Yep.
Like, oh, we need a guy like that around.
I tell you, I cried a little bit in this episode, and I didn't cry last week. Last week, I was stone cold, grumpy, and mad. And
even during the Sunday dinner?
Nope.
You didn't cry?
I thought it was touching. I thought it was lovely, but my heart was hard at that moment.
It was all closed up.
And this week, my heart opened up, and I was like, all right, baby, I love you. He has a tiger. I mean, he has a tiger. And I love that from the start, he has Carol's number. I mean, totally. You know, as he said, you can't bullshit a bullshitter.
Yeah, that was the best.
A few minutes into meeting her, he wants her to take a pomegranate, and he describes the pomegranate as being sweet fruit surrounded by bitter, but well worth the effort. I mean, it's Carol in a nutshell right now.
In some ways, they're two peas in a pod because they're both bullshitters.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they're not quite the same. They don't quite do it for the same reason, but they can sniff each other out.
Yeah,
it's not too hard to sniff him out, I would say, which that's one maybe flaw in the episode is this really the first time anyone has ever said, come on, dude? But I guess people are hoping
not. Yeah, and maybe they're just grateful for somebody to be a leader. And it sounds like as a leader, he's actually seems to be making it work. Yeah, he's. I'm telling you, in my opinion, this is the best place so far. And he keeps, he keeps his people safe.
Just wait. No, I'm just kidding. I don't
know. You know what? The thing that I'm most worried about is that our people will show up, are going to fuck it all up like they fuck everything up.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. I'd say that's highly likely.
Yes.
In fact, he should just probably let Carol go. Maybe keep Morgan.
Think about it. Herschel's farm, how's that doing? Oh, not too well.
That wasn't their fault. The zombies stormed the farm.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Yeah, you. The prison, Woodbury. I mean, yes, you're right. Extenuating circumstances.
I would say
people.
Probably the people who maybe should be the most wary are the Alexandrians. Yes. Rick really messed that place up. But
yes,
then they tried to paint it that all those zombies would have gotten out of the quarry and run them over anyway. So
yeah, I'm sure that exactly would have happened. So we learned that King Ezekiel has a background in community theater, which is also pretty fabulous. Yes. I just love him.
Yeah. It's pretty lucky, all the things that came together, that he had a background in community theater, that he was a zookeeper with a close relationship with a tiger, that he plucked a thorn out of his paw or whatever it was.
Right.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
About Ezekiel?
Nope.
I think Carrie Payton did an amazing job. He was at Walker Stalker too, but I didn't get to meet him.
Did you do a panel?
No, we couldn't do a panel with him because he hadn't been on the show yet.
Yeah.
Next time. My number 5 is the intro, which coming off the darkness of last week's episode, I knew that this week was going to be lighter. So I was like waiting for a comedy. That's what Nicotero said. Oh, it's closest to a comedy as anything we've done. But it started out really dark and creepy and unsettling. And I loved that because I don't know if they did this on purpose, but it felt like a nice transition that if we'd started off right in the land of Oz, it would have been kind of more jarring than it already was.
Right.
But not only did I like that it was a transition, but I just thought it was awesome, with Carol in that cart and unconscious and then woken by zombies eating the horse, which is really sad. And she's a little out of her mind the whole time, seeing them as real people.
Yes.
Creepy.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've really seen that too much.
No, we haven't. By the way, they used 5 sets of identical twins for that sequence.
Why would they use twins? Because some would be in the zombie makeup?
Uh-huh. And somebody being in street clothes or whatever. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then the music was really intense. And when my favorite was when she saw the creepy lady in that window in the house beckoning for her, and then her shoulder got in the way, and then it's like the zombie.
She later kills that woman.
You're right. She goes back and, all right, I'll kill you and stay here.
Okay.
And then
thanks
there were
for the invitation.
More creepy Zeds. Yeah, thanks for the invitation. You're the one who asked me to come in here. You should know what you're going to get. More creepy Zeds coming in from the forest, and they're, when she sees them, they're kind of blurry, and one had cobwebs all over it, and one had like fungus or mold, and then the horsemen come in and start chopping them all up. But she's sort of looking from like inside a tunnel, almost like she's in and out of consciousness. And then this is all in the cold open before the credits. And then by the end of the cold open, they're staring at this dude with a tiger. And it's like, okay, this is going to be a different kind of episode. So I really just enjoyed how they eased us into that. And they were kind of like, psych, it's not going to be that dark. There's some sunshine coming around the corner.
Right.
And I thought that with Carol seeing them as people, I think the point of that, at least one point, was at least for a while for us to wonder if this is a hallucination. It's sort of Wizard of Ozzy.
Yeah.
You know, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I think we were supposed to sort of wonder about her state of mind and whether she's just dreaming about this tiger and this kingdom.
The great and powerful Oz.
Yeah, exactly. Who's behind that curtain?
Yeah.
It's some zookeeper.
I had to call out one zombie in the cold open that was amazing. The one that they sliced from the top to the bottom of his head.
Yeah.
Sort of, and his face kind of peeled down.
But you could still see his mouth hole and his eye holes.
Yes. Like that, the holes.
Yeah. That was pretty damn cool.
Pretty inspired there, Greg Nicotero.
Exactly. That's innovation, folks.
Mm-hmm. Keeps us watching.
Yeah. Very cool.
All right.
Number 4.
My number 4 is the choir singing Bob Dylan's our Nobel laureate 1963 song, Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. And I thought it was a beautiful music montage. It was so great because the song fit the tone and the lyrics were just perfect. It's a song that my parents had this album when I was a kid, and they played it a lot growing up. And so it's a song that I really love anyway. The minute they started, I was like, oh, they're singing a Bob Dylan song, which is actually the second Bob Dylan song that they've had on The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm. After season 1.
Mm-hmm, the season finale, TS19. So I thought it was just really beautiful how it sort of flowed through, showing Morgan teaching Benjamin how to do Aikido in the gazebo, and Carol thinking about escaping, and then, her stealing stuff.
She's there with her arms folded, like crossed like a petulant child in her room at first.
Right. And the song is so pretty, and it's so full of, it's so sad, and it makes my heart ache. I thought it was really beautiful,
What's interesting about it is it's all about somebody who's leaving somebody else, and it's like, I'm too dark for you, or something. And then he says, and it ain't no use in turning on your light, babe. I'm on the dark side of the road, but I wish there was something you would do or say to try and make me change my mind and stay. So there's that little bit of like, I wish you would do that. And that's what happened at the end. She and maybe that's sort of hinting that Carol, actually, some part of her does want to be brought back to the fold. She doesn't want to go off and be a hermit. Come on, convince me.
Right. And maybe King Ezekiel kind of, maybe he got sort of halfway there, because he did. She left
moved
without,
like 3 yards down the road.
She's a neighbor.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
She's the weird hermit lady down the street. Which isn't too far away. So she smiled at him at the end too.
Yeah, she did.
Sweet.
Thanks for the pomegranate, baby. You and your tiger can come and sit with me on the porch.
Okay, my number 4 is, there was a lot about optimism versus pessimism versus realism, fantasy versus reality, stuff like that. About like whether life is worth living in the zombie apocalypse, or are we just kidding ourselves, and how much is it okay to go ahead and kid yourselves, or if you want to put it in a different frame, just think of things positively. And I've thought about this kind of thing my whole life, about positive thinking, and to a point, I think it's bullshit. And I actually hate when other people bullshit about things, like they're saying things a certain way just to kind of hype it up. But I know they don't even really believe what they're saying. I don't like that. But I also, on the other hand, think that your mindset is incredibly important to how the quality of your life turns out and your experience. The mindset that you bring into a situation has a huge impact on your experience. So you have to sort of navigate those two things. I don't ever want to be false, but I also don't want to be an Eeyore and have these self-fulfilling experiences of sadness. So Ezekiel is on this extreme side of let's just make a play out of this world. And it's working miracles. And I was inspired by the guy. So,
yes,
like you said, he found a way to deal with the bad by going a little overboard with all the good.
Yeah. And it seems like he's kind of the only one that's assuming this persona. Nobody else is giving the Elizabethan speak.
It's true.
It really is him. And he gives a great explanation for how that happened. He didn't intend it to happen. They built this whole mythology around him, and he's like, all right,
they seem to want a leader.
And it seems like it's working.
And he has a point that people do want to feel safe, and they want to have a good leader. We do.
Yes.
We in this country right now, we want one, right?
Right.
But what doesn't totally sit well with me is, well, for one thing, you can tell, I think he was actually happy to meet Carol, who didn't go with it, because when she said, "You're a joke," and that's when or at least really quickly after that, he leveled with her. And I don't think he levels. Maybe he's leveled with some people, but probably not that many. And it made me feel like, oh, you know what? I think this guy is actually kind of lonely, because I do believe that he believes in hope and that he cares, but I think he's also putting on this mask every day, and he doesn't get to show his real self. And with Carol, they sat there and shared a real moment together. And now I think he's in love with her, possibly because of it. And same thing, he got past her facade too. And that's really special. So that is more important to me than pretending like life is okay, even when you don't feel like it is just being real with people. But I think, like I said in the beginning, it is good to have a good mindset. So anyway, that's just what that all got me thinking about.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's funny too that you say that. I'm going to talk about my number, whatever we're on, is that scene between Ezekiel and Carol, and how, he finds her. I love that she's in this garden, and it's like a Garden of Eden, and she's there picking an apple, and she learns more. It's like the tree of knowledge that she's just picked. It's just awesome. I love the writers. And I love the fact that he's his authentic self with her, and and being his authentic self with her gives him a different kind of power, and it gives him a different kind of authority than the one that he has with the other people there. And that's pretty great. When somebody drops it and is their real authentic self with you, it's intoxicating. It's amazing.
It is. And it's vulnerable too. And it's scarier. And that's why, like, Carol, she said, out there is real, and I've been to places where I thought I wouldn't have to, where I could just be. So I think that's what she's looking for. She's so used to having to put on a face, or at least feeling like she has to, even before the apocalypse. And that's what I wanted to ask Melissa McBride on her panel, how I think her character is, she's had to play these roles with her husband and even as a mother, and that's all been stripped away. And now her arc is for her, Carol, to find out who she really is. And it's still ongoing, she still hasn't.
She's on a path, man. So what do you think was her place when she said, I thought I found a place where I could just be? Do you think she means Alexandria?
No, I think she means on her own. Oh, that's why she keeps trying to be alone. But
she wasn't alone for long.
Yeah, that's right. Well, she was for a while, but I don't know for sure, but that's what I thought she meant. But I think, being together with other people is scarier and riskier, but it's also more rewarding.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we now?
Well, I was saying, so
turn.
my next whatever was
Number
that
3.
scene. Yeah, was that scene between King Ezekiel and Carol, and I just thought it was beautiful, and that's really all I wanted to say about it.
Yeah, it was really good, and that feeds into my number 3, which is the kingdom when it came along in the comics, and he was speaking in this, like you said, Elizabethan talk, and he had a tiger.
Yeah, I
was like, this is really hokey. Like, I don't think I like this. It feels like a jump the shark moment for the book, and they kind of, if I remember right, they just kind of backed off on it after that. But I think the show handled it actually much better. It took something that could have been a weakness for the show, and I wasn't even sure they would go there, but they just went there big time. But they did a lot of little things that, for me, made it work. They mitigate the hokiness. They, for one thing, used it as an exploration of this theme that I just talked about, whether the hope and positive thinking at this level are good, whether it's okay to have a fairy tale. Also, they had Morgan kind of talk embarrassingly about it right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has his own way of doing things,
he has his own thing.
It was an acknowledgement that they knew we were going to feel that way, or at least maybe not you, but some of us.
Yeah.
And then I so loved Carol just doing her thing, Oh, if I would have combed my hair if I knew I was going to meet royalty. And then as soon as they go outside, she's all, are you shitting me? I saw this, by the way, with 500 people in the big hall at Walker Stalker, and that moment just cracked everybody up. It was so funny.
That's so great.
And she calls it a joke, so it was good for them to say what some of us were thinking, to acknowledge that it was kind of hokey. And then to sort of make the argument for it. Well, maybe the contradiction is the point. Maybe people need a fairy tale, stuff like that. I also think it was great to have Ezekiel fess up at the end, so we didn't have to live with that facade for too long. I don't know if it would have worked for many, many episodes. What do you think? Do you think it was too soon for him to do that?
No, it's perfect.
Shift into his real
No,
persona?
because it was important that we invest in him, and the way that we're going to do it is for him to let down this whole persona for a minute and let us see who the real guy is. And I feel invested and in love.
Yeah, me too, actually. And I like that he was talked about as community theater, and it kind of made it make sense why he would have the skills to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like I know that guy. Like, oh yeah, that's my friend, and they do community theater, and He's know
so much
these people.
Fun. Yeah. The other thing that redeemed it for me is that it came on the heels of Negan, and I think this episode wouldn't, out of context, it wouldn't have had the same impact. We really needed it right now,
Right.
So it's the perfect placement for this episode to have the most impact after last week.
Exactly. And I think it's important too, because Negan was, in a way, sort of tangentially in this episode, in that Negan's guys came and they did the shakedown, but clever for the folks of the kingdom to realize that you don't do it there, you do it at some other location far away, or however far away it is. And I love the big middle finger to the people, the saviors, in that they get the pigs to eat the zombies. So their bellies are full of rotting meat. And at first I was wondering, what the heck are they doing? Is that really how they work things there at the kingdom? And then we find out later it's all for the people in the sanctuary. Ha 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 ha. You, man.
We still don't know whether tainted meat has any effect.
It probably doesn't, but and maybe they know that it doesn't, but it's still a big,
it's an FU.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. I think they're trying to at least find out. It seems like they're trying to poison them, but we'll see if it works.
Brilliant. They should do that. They should do more of that.
Yeah, they should put real poison in there.
You got to do it subtly so they don't understand that they're being poisoned. Ooh, that's clever.
Yeah, that could work. So there are other reasons why I think that this episode worked, the kind of hokiness. I like that the show varies the tone, and this was a huge variation. I love when shows do that, and this was really funny and uplifting, and I love that they have a choir and they have movie night.
Yeah.
Really
yes.
The music even was kind of medieval style too, through a lot of it. When it wasn't, there was also a lot of Morgan theme music from Here's Not Here. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's a lot of the same kind of music that was in that episode.
Oh, when he was sitting next to her, when she was asleep on the bed and he was sitting next to her looking at her, I remember that moment. You're right.
Mm-hmm. So even though they did a lot of things to redeem the premise, it still seems like it might be too hokey to me for this show, and Ezekiel seems a little too weird and too silly, and I'm not sure I believe that everyone would go along with it. I mean, I think I would believe more that he might be able to get people to follow him just because he had a tiger, if he just acted more like an authority figure or a badass than he really felt like. But to be a king with Arthurian speech, it does feel a little dumb to me, but I felt really good watching it, so I just kind of let that go. And I mean, it's there enough that I'm mentioning it now, but I'm kind of reserving judgment on it.
Okay.
So we'll see. I mean, I loved the episode, but I just hope, like I said at the top, looking back, I hope this wasn't like a jump the shark moment.
Right, right.
We'll see. I don't think it's going to be, but right. But let's take a little break before we go to our number 2 and talk about Fracture. Fracture's our longest time sponsor and one of our favorites, and we love the people there and we love the product, which is you get your photos printed on this pane of glass, and they look amazing, and the color just pops, and they're really light, and they're ready to hang up on your wall right away. And we just did a zombie makeup contest with them at bestzombiemake.com. So you can go see all the entries. It's over now, and stay tuned, and we'll announce the winners some point soon. They each get an extra large Fracture, but I just thought it was really cool how many great makeups there were.
I forgot to look. I'm going to look right after we get done recording.
Check it out. But a new listener, Carl Simmons, sent me 2 Fractures that he got. I actually met him at Heroes and Villains, and he was telling me about his wife because she's Asian like my wife, and so he has some half Asian, half black daughter here that's the cutest little baby I've ever seen.
Is that the picture that you sent me?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So
he's
cute.
Got one of his wife holding his baby, their baby. And these 2 pictures they exemplify the 2 different things I usually talk about with Fracture. Is they can help you preserve a memory, or just something from your life that you want to be reminded of, or they can just be a beautiful picture that you took. And these are both.
Yes.
He's got one with a little baby holding both of their fingers, and you can just see their hands, and the baby's got this big smile, and she's looking straight into the camera. It's gorgeous.
She's so cute.
So I can totally see why he would want to have this up on the wall, and just looking at these really makes me happy.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So you guys go find yours and go to the website and upload them and just see how they look and see if you want to get one of these. Fracture has great customer service. They have a happiness guarantee. They really want you to be satisfied. They're really proud of what they do. All their Fractures are handmade in their factory in Gainesville, Florida, right here in the U.S. The holidays are coming up quick, so you better, if you want to jump on this, because I know, because they do put a lot of care into it, they're not going to come over the next couple of days. It might take a little while. So it's a really special thing to give someone on the holidays. You'll really make someone smile. If you want to check it out, go to fractureme.com/podcasts and select Walking Dead Cast on there, and you'll get 10% off your first purchase. That's fractureme.com/podcasts.
Thanks, Fracture.
Thanks, Fracture.
All right. So my number 2. Well, we already talked about the Kingdom, but the Kingdom is my number 2. And I thought it seems like it's such a cool place. As we see Morgan wheeling Carol at the very beginning, we see them go past gardens. They're gardening, and the gardens are so clever. They go past what looks to be like a little school, and the school looks really cute. And horseback riding lessons. There's a little kid getting a horseback riding lesson in a ring. So great. And now apparently there's Morgan teaching Aikido in the gazebo. It's just fantastic. And something that you might see on Pinterest today, I'm telling you, I want to steal this idea. They had file cabinets. And because in the zombie apocalypse, you really don't need to file anything. Let's be honest here. In fact, you can probably take the paper out and use
unless
the paper.
You're at Terminus.
Right. In which case, it's very important to keep
all those body parts.
You gotta keep track, man. Have the clipboard. But they turned them into planters, and they're so flippin' cute. I just thought, oh my god, that's fantastic. So, and another thing about the kingdom that I loved is I love that they ride horses and they wear armor and they use spears, a spear-like weapon. I don't know what to call it, for lack of a better word. I'm going to call it spears. But that seems like a really smart use of resources. Gasoline is not infinite in this universe, although it does sort of seem to be, like it's infinite.
Yeah.
Bullets seem to be infinite also.
Yeah, feels more like what you might think they would be, right? Having to rely on nature.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
At this point, you better go back to a more agrarian society where you're growing your food, you are using horses to get around, and but you also are having cobbler for every meal, apparently. And you have movie night. I was thinking about that. Like, how exactly are they achieving movie night? Are people acting out The Godfather in front of people? I mean, what's movie night exactly? I do not know. Do they have a solar panel that, projects? I don't know, but it seemed very interesting. Maybe they've hooked it up like Gilligan's Island style to a sort of a bamboo bicycle, and they're generating power that way. Anyway,
I assumed it was something with like a generator, but everything else sort of points to it's probably people acting out Star Wars or something. But we were joking the other day we should invent hamster wheels for kids that can power their iPad. So if they want to play iPad, they have to power it up.
Yes.
By running in the hamster wheel.
Yes. Or a bicycle,
Patenting.
whatever.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hamster wheel would be more fun to look at.
Especially if you could put them in a little hamster outfit. That would
Last
be the
night,
best thing.
trick-or-treating, Nico was Spider-Man and his friend Teddy was a stormtrooper, and Teddy's little 3-year-old brother was a traffic cone.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
It was the cutest thing ever.
Wow.
Okay, my turn?
Me some Halloween. Yeah.
All right, my number 2 is Morgan and Ezekiel, who just seemed, the more I was organizing my thoughts, to kind of go together because I feel like they're kindred souls.
Yeah.
They are peaceful as much as they can be.
Right.
And when Ezekiel stopped his guy from fighting with the Savior, he de-escalated the situation. And I thought that was really cool.
Yep.
Of course, every time something like this happens, then next thing you know, someone's getting their head bashed in. So that's next week. But
don't worry, our people will completely bring this peaceable kingdom to its knees.
Ezekiel even said, "Where there's life, there's hope," which I think is a direct quote from Morgan.
Yeah.
And I liked how Morgan was suspicious that Ezekiel wanted him because he saw him kill that guy, but Ezekiel said no. And I also liked that after Morgan killed that guy, that he still lives by the stick, kind of.
Yes.
And when Ezekiel asked if the stick had saved him, I think Morgan was happy to realize that he still felt that way. That's what I took from it. He was like, yes, or yeah. So that was a nice feeling, like, oh, good. He's not like totally giving up everything that we've come to like, that you and I have come to like about him.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And also I liked when he said, your skill with the staff, how did you come to acquire that skill? Morgan said, was a cheesemaker. It was nice to hear him say that.
Yeah, that's the best explanation ever. Do you remember for a long time we were like, what the fuck? The cheesemaker? I think he said a cheesemaker. That can't be right.
And the listeners were like, no, it's peacemaker, you idiots. Well, who's the idiot now?
Still us.
I also thought it was appropriate that he brought up cheese in this kind of cheesy episode.
Oh, look at you making that connection.
I also thought it was interesting that he's still carving his little hobo symbols into things, like into the mailbox post.
Yep.
Which I don't think I understand.
Well, do you think it was sort of a symbol for Rick and company that maybe this is like a path that I'm on and you can follow me or who knows? That's a good question. I don't think that's ever really been completely answered.
Yeah, which is interesting. I hope not. A little mystery that goes over seasons like that is great.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting when Ezekiel said to the zombies, "May we one day cease you all from this curse. Till then, know that we live on in your place, full, festive, faithful, and free." And then Richard says, "Only halfway free, because we know that the saviors take half your stuff."
Right. But they found a way to gather these pigs that maybe pigs are roaming free. So maybe it's not costing them a lot.
My favorite thing, I guess not. Because you'd think that the other people in the kingdom would notice if half their stuff was gone. But it was interesting. Well, the savior guy said, next week is produce week, so produce. So
maybe that's the humor that Nicotero was referring to.
Oh, come on. There was a lot of funny stuff. When she takes the knife and then takes the chocolate. Remember that? She reaches over and grabs the chocolate too.
She does like chocolate. Yeah, okay, that was funny.
And that was after she had said, "Oh, put a piece of chocolate in front of me and it's going to go by." Or when she said, "You're shitting me, right?" That was okay. I mean, I think there were a bunch of funny. It was at least kind of funny. But what else was I going to say? I mean, my favorite thing that Ezekiel did, though, was when she said, "Why do you care?" And he said, "Because it makes me feel good."
Yeah. That was really nice. A good moment.
Yep. I mean, I worry about him because ultimately I think if you're faking your way through life, it's not going to serve you well for the long term. That's my own personal feeling about it.
He's only faking his language, really. That's it. That's the only thing he's faking. It seems to me is the language that he uses.
Yeah. Maybe.
And he's also keeping the Savior's shakedown scheme from most of the people in the kingdom. So, but that's probably good. He's smart actually to keep that from them strategically, because if people started to get pissed off that these guys were taking resources from them, they might want to fight, and he knows that would be a losing battle.
Yeah, they might all band together and go, "Let's go kill them in their sleep."
Right, yes, because that would be a good move, Rick, etc.
What's your number one?
My number one is Carol, as played by the amazing and apparently elusive and mysterious Melissa McBride. She's incredible. And while some might find her current journey puzzling, and I've even read that some people find it kind of annoying, I think it works. I mean, who wouldn't be mentally messed up at this point? I mean, really.
Yeah, you lost your daughter.
Yeah, exactly. And her pain feels, and she's had to kill so much. Her pain feels real to me. And
she didn't have to, but she did. That's
oh, you're thinking of Dave and Karen. Yeah. No, I was thinking actually when they thought that they had killed Negan and she killed all those people.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just killing so many people.
She kind of got Sam killed. I mean, that was totally indirect, but I just thought it was awful what she did. She scared the shit out of him, and then he choked.
Yeah.
Because of it. So
yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if she felt some responsibility for that. Yeah.
And I'm sure she feels responsibility about what happened with Lizzie.
Right. I mean, at least if not responsibility, guilt.
Yeah. You know? And trauma. She's trauma. As much as anybody, she's going through a lot of stuff. And Melissa McBride gives the character depth and layers that a lot of the other characters just, from my point of view, just don't seem to have. So the amazing Melissa McBride has got to be my number one. And it was fun at the end when she chose to stay but not stay, and it's so great. I love that, like, she's their neighbor. It's great. So it'll be fun to see.
Yeah, I dug the ending, and I think Melissa McBride is such a great actress that, you know, they could have killed off Carol at a number of different points, but they've kept her. And when you keep someone around, you have to, especially on a show like this, you have to figure out where their character is going to go and extend their arc somehow. And they've done it with Rick too. And
right.
I love what they've done with her. Like I was saying earlier, it feels like she lost everything that made her who she was. And it actually shaped this mask that she was wearing. So it wasn't really who she was, but it was who she pretended to be. It made her who she pretended to be. And then she responded by just retreating and becoming really hardened and becoming a killer for a while there. And some people just thought that was amazing.
Yeah, right.
Not
right.
me. But now she's sort of coming back to being a whole person, more of a whole person. I mean, she's just like, the doors cracked open for that, you know.
Yeah.
And that Bob Dylan song of, well, maybe I would like you to try and convince me, is like the very delicate beginnings of her becoming more of a healthy person, possibly. That's what I hope
you're right. I like it.
Well, my number one was also Carol, so I'm not going to go over anything else, but I'll just go right into my notes.
Do it, man.
So there was a new intro. A lot of this stuff at the beginning was the same. Andrew Lincoln over Rick's gun and Norman Reedus over the vest with the angel wings. But when they got to the end, Elena Masterson, I think she's new on there, on the credits, next to this old boat laying on the forest floor, I think, on its side, which I don't know why. What does she have to do with boats? But okay.
Okay.
Then Josh McDermott in Machinery, I think probably because he's making bullets.
Okay, good.
Some kind of Then there was Christian Serratos and A Broken Window of a House, which I don't know what that means. Maybe she feels broken after Abraham. Then Jeffrey Dean Morgan with a Burning Furnace with an iron in it. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, and then there was a baseball bat handle in the frame too, which that's pretty much makes sense.
Hey, Lucio. Sure. So
that was it. So there's
like
a couple additions to that. I wrote down some of the other funny things. Carol's face when she first sees the tiger.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. She's just frozen like a deer in the headlights.
What? Yeah.
There was when Ezekiel's right-hand guy presented her with a bowl of fruit and said, it's fruit time. For some reason, I just thought that was funny.
I gotta tell you, Jerry is my new favorite character next to King Ezekiel. He's fan-freaking-tastic. He's played by a guy named Cooper Andrews, and his smile is fabulous.
Said some fun lines, too.
He did.
Then there was the whole lunch cobbler thing. There's cobbler at lunch? I don't even know how to handle that.
There's cobbler at every meal. I wonder if that would just make you sick of cobbler. You'd be like, fucking cobbler
I know.
again.
God,
people make something else.
Well, there's different kinds of cobbler. There's peach cobbler. There's nectarine cobbler.
Is there pomegranate cobbler?
Pomegranate, of course. But I was wondering if she actually was kind of losing her shit about that because it was just so Martha Stewart and she couldn't handle it, but she just then took the opportunity to grab those clothes.
I'm just so verklempt. Can you get me a tissue? Thanks, dear.
And then the whole, what's that saying? Never bullshit a bullshitter. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yep.
So lots of funny things. A couple zombie things. You mentioned the one where he got his face sliced off. Also, at one point, one of the guys says, you shoot a machine gun in the woods and nothing. You cough in the city. And it was just interesting to me because there were a lot of zombies around in the city. I like that cities are still a dangerous place to go.
Right.
That's cool.
Right. Where's more people, man? It makes sense. More people, more zombies.
What about, we didn't really mention Shiva, but I thought Shiva was beautiful.
Yes, they did a great job with Shiva. Loved her. I love that Carol initially calls her Sheba. And they're like, nope, Shiva.
Want to hear my lion roar?